Hi all, welcome to Technical Circuits YouTube channel. This is Suresh Ambalapuzha. So today's video is a computer assembling video, Intel i5 processor based computer assembling video. So before assembling, I just explained the parts used in this computer assembly. Previously shows the Intel i5 7th generation processor and a RAM. This is the hard disk, 1 TB Seagate SATA hard disk, and another one is the main motherboard, Asus B250MD motherboard. This motherboard support DDR4 RAM 2400 MHz and 6th and 7th generation i3 i5 processor. This is the SATA SSD hard disk 120 GB. It's costly. SATA hard disk, SSD hard disk is costly. So next is the DVD writer, LG DVD writer. So this is the parts used for assembling the computer, i5 processor, and Asus B250 motherboard, DDR4 RAM 4 GB, and one SSD hard disk 120 GB, and one SATA hard disk Seagate. And finally explain the cabinet, eyeball cabinet, designer cabinet. It's high-end model. Eyeball 450 watts power supply is enough for this computer assembly. If you have any plan to install 2GB or 4GB high-end graphics card, then please select the power supply Antec or Corsair 500 watts or 550 watts because need more power. So I just unboxed the cabinet, eyeball Basil designer cabinets. This i5 based computer have useful to editing purpose, web designing, software development. So myself main purpose is YouTube video editing and some software installation and training. So total cost of this computer is around 40,000, including monitor, keyboard and the CPU. So I just unscrew the side cover of the cabinet and just remove the cables, power cord and some screws packets. All the screws and some wires are inside the cover. Now showing the front panel connection wires like front panel audio, front panel USB and USB 3 port. Blue color is USB 3 port and rear fan. This is the main power supply unit, eyeball 450 watts power supply unit. It's a good quality power supply. This cabinet have more space to install 2-3 CD drives and 2-3 hard disks and SSD drives, and use big motherboards, and have a front fan with LED lights. So next explain the Core i5 processor, Intel i5 processor 7400. It's a model LGA1151. LGA1151 socket support. It's a 3 GHz 4 core 4 threads processor, Intel i5 7th generation processor. It support virtualization and hyper-threading technologies. So I just opened the package box and just release the processor with the fan cover. So this one is the i5 processor, 7th generation i5 processor, and comes with a cooling fan. Heatsink paste is attached with this cooling fan. It's a 12 volt Intel original cooling fan. This cooling fan is enough for this computer. If you want to more high-end cooling fan, then please select Cooler Master like cooling fans from online or market. Next is the motherboard unit, Asus B250 motherboard. Its price range is about 6,000 rupees. Have a 2 memory slot and one PCI Express graphics slot. Support 2.0 and 3.0 graphics cards. Also PCI 32 slot, and backside have a 6 USB port and one PS2, both mouse and keyboard support, and have a COM port, that's a special port, and have HD port. So this is a motherboard. I just released the SIP socket to insert the processor 1151 socket. This motherboard support Intel dual core i3 and i5 i7 processor, mostly using high-end processors like i3, i5, i7. Install the processor proper way, and the marked one pin is absent on processor and motherboard slot. Then proper way install. After installing the processor, the protecting cover is automatically removed. After inserting the processor, then fix the cooling fan, Intel original cooling fan. That's enough this computer. If you want, then select a high-end cooling option like Cooler Master. Cooling paste attached to this fan, so you have to feel free attach this fan to the motherboard. Press the cooling fan lock proper way, 4 sides. Then attach the CPU fan connector to the pin marked on the motherboard CPU fan. So next step is the RAM insertion. It's a DDR4 2400 MHz RAM. Install the RAM proper way. A stainless steel IO shield is available in the motherboard package. So that's a IO shield is attached to the cabinet backside. Each motherboard IO connections is different, so the IO panel is available with the motherboard package. After these steps, then attach motherboard to the cabinet proper way, then fix the screws. All the type of screws available in the screw packets. One of the important tips: use magnetic screwdriver for assembling the computer. It's easiest way to fix the screws. So after the screws fixing, then remove the side cover, and the cables are wired proper way. Some high-end cabinets, easy cable management option available. First connect the main 24 pin power connection to the motherboard, and thereafter connect the 12 volt for the processor, additional voltage, core voltage to 12 volt. After that, connect the front audio panel and front USB, and finally connect the front panel power switch and power LEDs. Front panel connections mentioned on the wire like front panel LED, HD LED, and reset switch, power switch. After that, fix the DVD writer to the cabinet and fix the 1 TB Seagate hard disk for the main storage. For the OS installation, use SSD hard disk 120 GB. Use SSD hard disk, computer gets more speed. And finally fix the other end screws to the hard disk and CD drives, and connect power connections to the hard disk, and data connections, SATA data cable and power cable, SATA cable to the motherboard for the 1 TB CCAT hard disk, and finally connect the SSD hard disk to the motherboard. Also connect CD drive connection in the same way properly. Okay, finally connect the front panel fan and rear panel fan for the proper cooling of the entire computer. For the i5 computer assembling process completed, then shows the final assembled computer images, back panel IO connections and rear fan. Show some top views and front side views of the cabinet, and finally just power on the UPS. After that, press the power button of the CPU and the display comes to the monitor. Finally insert the bootable CD into the CD drive or USB bootable USB drive, then select installation, Windows installation. Okay, thank you.